following list of games is what I deem to be the best survival games available on the home consoles in 2024, and towards the end of the video I'll be taking a look at the survival games which might be arriving on the consoles this year in 2024. First up is Dismantle. This is a very cool, underrated video game. It's currently on the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. If you want to find out more on Dismantle, check out the short video I made for this very same channel. I'll put the link to that video in the description. Dismantle is very cool, check it out. Ark Survival Ascended. So Ascended is the remake of the Ark Survival Evolved game we had many years ago. It's on Unreal Engine 5, whereas the original game is on Unreal Engine 4. This received a negative reception at launch, I have to make that clear. I personally haven't experienced any issues, it's always receiving updates, although I do play on Series X. It is supposed to be a little bit rough on the Series S, but that's what I've read, I don't know that as fact. Ark Survival Ascended is a polished version of the original basically. Tons of fun, very addictive, best played with friends like a lot of the games on this list, so check it out. The Forest. The game takes place on a remote, heavily forested peninsula where the player character must fight off cannibalistic monsters while searching for his son Timmy after a plane crash. The game features non-linear gameplay in an open world environment played from a first-person perspective with no set missions or quests, empowering the player to make their own decisions for survival. I love The Forest. I've spent a lot of time with this game. It is getting on now. It's been around for a while. I'll get to the Sons of the Forest later on in the video, so wait around for that. But yeah, The Forest on the PlayStation, check it out. State of Decay 2. So, in State of Decay 2, players are tasked with building a community, managing resources, and surviving against the horde of zombies. Now this is available on Game Pass. It's always on Game Pass. It doesn't seem to leave. I've played a lot of this game. Tons of fun. Much better experience in co-op. Subnautica is a survival action-adventure game set in an open world environment and played from a first-person perspective. The player controls the lone survivor of a crashed spacecraft, and the main objective is to explore the ocean and survive its dangers while completing tasks to advance the plot. I didn't know whether to include this or the sequel because I wanted just to include a short list of games, really, what I think are well worth your time. And I think the original, this, Subnautica, is better than the game that came after it. So yeah, check out Subnautica. You can play it on all the systems now. It's absolutely fantastic. DayZ is a multiplayer-only survival game that places the player in the fictional post-Soviet environment where a mysterious plague has turned most of the population into what are essentially zombies. As a survivor, the player must scavenge the world for food, water, weapons and medicine, while killing or avoiding the infected, and killing, avoiding or cooperating with other players to survive the outbreak. This is on Game Pass, but you can also play it over on the PlayStation. Fantastic game. Some people absolutely hate this game. I personally love it. I've spent far too many hours in this fictional post-Soviet world. I really like it. Massive world to explore. It's punishing. There's a steep learning curve. Go check it out. Green Hell takes place in the Amazon rainforest that is played in first person, in single player mode, or in co-op multiplayer. It is an open world simulation in which the player has to ensure their survival by collecting raw materials and food. Green Hell is a gem of a game. Really good. It's usually in the sale, or you can pick it up quite cheap, I think. Well worth your time if you are looking for a survival experience. The Long Dark is a first-person survival video game. The player assumes the role of a crash-landed bush pilot who must survive the Canadian wilderness after a geomagnetic storm. The game has both a story and a survival mode, which are both worth playing, guys. I stress that. Check out the story mode first, then play the survival mode. which is a bit more punishing. It's more non-linear, if you like. The Long Dark is incredible. I love this game. I love the art style. I love the atmosphere, the ambience. Incredible game. Another one I've spent a lot of hours in. Valheim is an open world survival game played from a third-person perspective. As fallen Vikings, players must craft tools, build shelters, fight enemies to survive. The game uses distinctive low-resolution stylized 3D graphics with a combat system inspired by action games. Co-op gameplay with up to 10 people and optional PvP gameplay is also supported, and it's another game which is on Game Pass, and it has been on Game Pass since the game launched on the Xbox. Check it out. Valheim is a gem. I keep saying that about all these games, but it is. Valheim is a gem, well worth your time. Rust. The objective of Rust is to survive in the wilderness using gathered or stolen materials. Players must successfully manage their hunger, thirst, and health, or risk dying. Despite the presence of hostile animals such as bears and wolves, the primary threat to the player is other players, due to the game being solely multiplayer. Combat is accomplished through firearms and other weapon types. This is a bit like DayZ. There's a lot of people who love Rust. There's a lot of people who hate it. It's punishing, Rust. Absolutely punishing. It's personally my favourite survival game of all time. But again, some people just don't gel with this for whatever reason. Very addictive. Once you start playing this game and you really get to grips with it, it is hard to put down. It's well worth checking out. It was on sale the last time I checked the stores, so you might be able to pick this up for a little cheaper now. Rust, check it out, guys. So the following games are survival games which might arrive in 2024. So first up is Dune Awakening. We might get this in early access on PS5 and Series X this year, but the rumours on Reddit seem to think that we won't get this until 2025. It's going to run on Unreal Engine 5, and it's being developed by the people who brought us Conan Exiles. Some might argue Conan Exiles should have been included in my original list. I'm not keen on that game, but loads of people love it. Dune Awakening, however, I am hyped for, but we might not get to see it this year, or rather, it might come to game preview and Xbox first, I don't know. Sons of the Forest. So I did mention this earlier, the sequel to The Forest. There is no release schedule that's been announced for PS5 as of yet, and I say PS5 and not the Series X and S, as we didn't get an Xbox release of the first game, so I'm just assuming that we'll get a PlayStation release, but this year, I highly doubt it, guys, but there is a chance. There's always a chance. So yeah, Sons of the Forest, I'm really looking forward to see how this plays on consoles. I've played it on PC, it's very good. Stalker 2: The Heart of Chernobyl. This is supposed to be hitting Xbox. It's something a little different for you with this one. So Stalker 2 won't be a traditional survival game in the truest sense of the word, but it will include exploration and other non-linear gameplay elements. According to the Games Wiki page, Stalker 2 is planned to be on the Xbox Game Pass at launch. The game was stated to be planned as a Microsoft exclusive release, only releasing on PC and the Xbox Series X and S. This exclusivity, however, is only slated to be for the first 3 months following its release, as evidenced by some leaked documents, and this is what I've read today on internet. So this does suggest we might also see a PS5 release at some point. I mean, I personally think it will hit PS5, Series X and S and PC. I think we might get Stalker 2 this year. I'm so hyped for this, I can't wait. I enjoyed the original. I think this is going to be tons better, more polished than the original. But that is the video. That's best survival games on the consoles in 2024. Let me know in the replies what you think of this list. I know there's going to be tons of games you guys are going to say, well, where is 7 Days to Die? Where's Conan Exiles, etc. This list, I think, is a very good list, and it's very varied. There's something for everyone in this list. Some survival games on the consoles are a bit rough. They're far better played on PC. Some of you guys, though, have looked for this video because you don't have access to a gaming PC. You want your gaming on the consoles, and I personally think all of the games I mentioned in this video all run really well. They run fine on console. Check out these games, guys. They are fantastic. Have an awesome 2024 and look out for more content coming to the channel. I'll speak to you all soon.